Toyotaru Ikikawa is a scrawny-looking dull kid but with thoughts darker than Mr. Popo, and has romantic feelings for a girl in his class. Romance between them, however, feels far-fetched, as not only is he shorter than Messi, they are both hopeless romantics. In class, Chi was chatting about Ikikawa's fractured arm. She mentioned how Yamada told her about it. While she was talking, Yamada grabbed her shoulders and quietly called her name, trying to get her to stop yapping. Chi then offered to scribble on his cast, quite the autograph, but Ikikawa felt overwhelmed by all the attention his injury was getting him. Adachi slammed his desk, warning Ikikawa not to act cocky about his broken arm, reminding him that it's not something to be proud of. Seems like someone's jelly. Chi then brought up the Akita charm on his shirt, which made him self-conscious, and she teased him about it, calling him weird. That's rather a compliment. Afterward, she and Serena walked off, with Serena remarking that Ikikawa was going for a laugh with the mismatched charm. Feeling embarrassed, Ikikawa removed the charm and put it in his pocket. Yamada approached him, attempting to offer help if he had any problems due to his injury, but she got interrupted by a couple of her friends from another class who called her into the hallway. Their teacher, Mita, walked into the entrance and summoned Ikikawa into the hallway like a sensei summoning a student for a secret ninja mission. Outside, they discussed the unfortunate situation of Ikikawa losing the use of his dominant hand, which he uses for his Riz spells. Mita suggested someone to assist him with taking notes during class, recommending the person he got along with best in class, which was, of course, Yamada. He pointed out that her seat was close to his and asked if it was a good idea, like a game master presenting a quest option to a player. However, Ikikawa considered how busy Yamada was and how many people she interacted with, so he rejected the offer, claiming they weren't really that close. He literally put NPCs before himself for the love of his life. He insisted that he could manage without help and quickly stepped back into the room. To his surprise, he found Yamada herself listening in from the side of the doorway, looking hurt. "Way to blow it, pal." He cursed his actions, realizing that all the progress he felt he'd made with her over the winter break had just gone up in smoke, like a tragic romance subplot taking a tragic turn, and he blamed himself for it. During break, he pondered whom to ask about taking notes from and glanced over at Yamada, but she turned away from him. She tries to reciprocate the energy. He thought Hara would gladly help but reconsidered, thinking it might not be a good idea involving Yamada. Eventually, he settled on Adachi, but to his surprise, Adachi already had a copy, explaining that Yamada had asked him to make one due to her messy handwriting. The signs are too obvious at this point, you can't be this dense. After school, Ikikawa bumped into Yamada at the shoe locker and awkwardly apologized. She asked him what for, insisting on hearing the full apology before accepting it. She's got an attitude after all. Finally, he broke down and admitted that he initially didn't want her help, but now realized she was the one he wanted to rely on the most. She snuggled up next to him, satisfied, and assured him that she knew. Outside the gate, Yamada asked if anyone was coming to pick him up, but he mentioned that his mother was busy with her job so he'd have to walk home. Bro couldn't just say he was abandoned. She offered to carry his bag, and though he hesitated at first, he remembered his decision to rely on her and accepted. He's trying so hard to be a tsundere, but that isn't working for him. As they walked, he told her to not talk to Adachi so much. She asked for a reason several times but received no answer. And just like that, Yamada was taking care of him all the time. Bro's living the dream. Back in class, Yamada attempted to take his dishes after eating, like a diligent waitress eager to clear the table. He mentioned he wasn't done with his soup, but she had already mixed his bowl in, leaving him unable to tell which was which. "All I see is a perfect opportunity." She apologized again, and Adachi, noticing his fidgeting, asked why he seemed so agitated. In the library, he contemplated how he had coped with inconvenience before, while she held the book he was trying to read in front of him. Later that day, Ikikawa sat out on the running track due to his injury. Yamada ran past him, having removed her jersey due to the heat, and attempted to toss it to him. However, her poor throw combined with his slow reflexes caused the jersey to miss completely, falling to the ground. He picked it up as she walked over, apologizing. Back in class, Uda was reading a magazine with the boys, and an excited Adachi snatched it, assuming it was some real cultured stuff. He was disappointed to find it was just a generic idol magazine until Uda pointed out Yamada featured inside. Jackpot. The boys eagerly flipped through the pages, but Ikikawa intervened, reminding them that she wasn't a model and highlighting her other activities like acting. Ikikawa didn't want his bee looking like that. Adachi, referencing her appearance in the magazine, suggested she could do some cultured pics for the hood, but he quickly hushed when Yamada and the other girls entered the room. After school, Yamada asked what he was talking about with Adachi and the others. He deflected, clearly not wanting her to know, and questioned why it mattered. She guessed it was some sort of male bonding, making him internally beg for forgiveness. Bro kept the bro code at all costs, respect. This made him wonder if it was okay to talk about her modeling work at all and pondered over her mentioning her movie gig, considering she might not want to discuss her appearances in a magazine meant for the bros, even if it wasn't explicit. Suddenly, she spotted the magazine she had modeled in, pointing out the idol Sato Hanoka of Lemon Zaka, and eagerly grabbed it, drawing his attention to it. Turning to her section, she played up her feature for all it was worth and showed it to him, but he tried to play it off, ignoring her and asking to take the magazine to check his horoscope. Bro is a pro at blowing it. She mentioned how nervous she had been because this was unlike any of her previous work. Becoming flustered, she put the magazine back, but he gently placed his hand on hers, saying that in his eyes, she was always on top form. He attempted to give her compliments while skirting around the fact that he was familiar with her work, saying she was the Yamada he knew. She concluded that the Yamada he knew was her at her best, and despite his difficulty in giving compliments as usual, she was happy with his assessment. She bought the magazine for him, and they continued their walk. He fretted over how there was a whole world of Yamada's life in modeling and acting that he knew nothing about, while she opened the magazine, asking which was his favorite. Awkwardly, he admitted he couldn't just pick one, and she happily exclaimed that he must like all of them, which he labeled as a positive outlook. Nice intuition. He mentioned they felt different from when she was in a fashion magazine, and she questioned how he knew about that. Realizing his mistake, he became flustered and tried to make up an excuse about his sister buying the magazine. She changed the subject to discuss the various ways the shoot was handled compared to a usual one, and he remarked that she must really love her job, which she affirmed with a warm smile. He looked away, reflecting on how long it had been since he had seen the brightness of Yamada's smile against the setting sun. It's time for cooking practice in home economics class, and Yamada is struggling to crack an egg. What an S-rank mission that is. Hara asks Ikikawa what he did over winter break while the others argue about the right utensils for making pancakes. He mentions he went to Akita where he got his arm injured. What a way to spend Christmas. Yamada then joins Ikikawa, admitting that the others kicked her out for being an egg Sakura. Hara changes the subject, asking Yamada about her break. Yamada lists her activities, including spending Christmas Eve with Ikikawa. Hara interrupts at the mention of Ikikawa, trying to process what she just heard, while Ikikawa wonders what connections Yamada is making in her head. Yamada asks Hara the same question, and she mentions going to a shrine with Kanzaki. Together, the girls create a cozy atmosphere that Ikikawa enjoys. Yamada asks for more details about the shrine visit, and Hara talks about an awkward encounter with Kanzaki, who had grown out his hair and had long sideburns. A little more growth and he'd be looking like might die. She seeks advice on what to say in such situations, but Yamada is at a loss, and Hara admits that seeing him like that made her lose confidence. She didn't hold anything back, her man lost all his riz. Yamada ponders what she would do if the boy she liked changed, glancing at Ikikawa. She then nervously denies having anyone like that. But Hara doesn't buy it, of course. The teacher reminds the class to keep their bangs tucked inside their bandanas. Yamada helps Ikikawa fix his hair, making him look like Levi Ackerman in cleaning mode. Despite her efforts, some of his hair still sticks out, and Yamada can't help but laugh, teasing him about his odd appearance. Hara feels relieved to finally get an answer to her previous question. As the other students bring around their mostly burnt pancakes, Yamada takes a bite. Adachi claims she has one of his pieces, prompting Ikikawa to play along and take a bite off her fork, pretending to enjoy Adachi's cooking and giving him undeserved praise. But for real, who let bro cook? Ikikawa's dog keychain falls off, and Hara picks it up for him. Yamada hands it back to him, while Hara teases him, joking that he's lucky. Kanzaki asks Hara if she has eaten, but she initially refuses, saying she's still dieting. Kanzaki reassures her, saying everyone likes her as she is and she shouldn't feel pressured. Hara then aggressively takes a bite, telling Kanzaki never to grow out his sideburns again, causing him to feel embarrassed and Ikikawa to declare the issue resolved. She sure drives a hard bargain. In the library, Yamada holds the book in front of Ikikawa again. He finds her presence distracting, imagining himself as a child sitting on her lap while she reads to him. But in reality, she ends up falling asleep behind him. He thinks this should be the other way around, and she jolts awake and apologizes once more. Yamada seems downcast, expressing her feelings of uselessness. Even though her mere presence lifts his spirits, he can't bring himself to say it. Instead, he pulls out his phone and shows her pictures of his sister Kana from her coming-of-age ceremony. Yamada finds the pictures adorable, and he tries to play it off as funny, but she playfully taps her foot against his, teasing him for saving it. Suddenly, he remembers he never sent her a picture of the snow, so he starts scrolling through his photos to find one. He stops at a blurry picture of branches and explains that's when he fell from the ledge. He finds it amusing, but Yamada realizes he got hurt because she asked for a picture, and her reaction is one of shock. He realizes the same thing, and they have a tense moment, each blaming themselves for the accident. He tries to change the subject, mentioning the possibility of snow tomorrow, but deep down, he knows he wasn't paying attention on the snowbank because he was thinking of her. As they walk into the hallway, she repeats his comment about the snow, and he mentions he already said that, to which she apologizes. Once again, he wishes he could express his true feelings to her, noting that he's never seen Yamada make such a face before. The next day, as he walks into school, he thinks about Yamada and how she probably feels responsible for his injury. He notices her friends and Mo calls out to him. They mention that Yamada hasn't been acting like herself, and Chi even points out that she only got 1 carton of fries at McDonald's instead of her usual 2. Mo and Serena question him, but he pretends not to know anything, and Chi wonders why they're asking him, frustrating Mo. When Yamada walks past and greets them, she heads to her seat. Inside the classroom, Yamada frantically searches through her bag, panicking when she realizes something is missing. She announces that Akita Kentaru is missing, leaving Chi and Serena puzzled. As the girls leave, he approaches her table and asks if she had it when she left home. She considers the possibility that she left it there but continues to search through her bag, visibly upset. When the teacher arrives and announces that classes are ending early due to the snow, the students are very happy. After class, Yamada rushes out immediately. At the shoe lockers, Ikikawa meets Hara and Kanzaki, who are searching for Yamada's lost dog keychain under the boards. They inform him about Yamada's search, and he decides to help her find it, thanking them before leaving. He heads towards Yamada's house, using his umbrella to break up small piles of snow while searching. Mo sneaks up behind him, sheltering him with her umbrella, and asks if he's looking for something. He denies it, so she wonders if he's just standing around. When she points out that he's going the wrong way for Yamada's house and directs him the right way, he thanks her and follows her suggestion, still breaking up snow clumps. He reflects on how cold and miserable he feels, with his arm hurting from the cold, and questions the point of his whole endeavor. Suddenly, he bumps into Yamada while extending his umbrella, and it dawns on him who she is. Yamada, tearing up, explains that Akita Kentaru wasn't at her house and begins to say it's nowhere to be found. But he interrupts, reassuring her that it's definitely out there somewhere, even if she can't find it right now. He comforts her, telling her not to worry too much because it won't just disappear. However, his reassurance is cut short when he spots the charm dangling from a nearby tree and points it out excitedly. He retrieves it, suggesting that someone found it and hung it there. Grateful, she thanks him for finding it, but he insists he only looked because of her. She pulls him into a hug but quickly breaks away when he suddenly sneezes. Concerned, she asks if he's okay, and he jokes that he hasn't learned anything. She then invites him inside her apartment to warm up, gesturing toward the building behind her. Ikikawa and Yamada are at her house, and she's made the water warm for him. That still wouldn't make this cold boy any less dense. He asks about her parents, and she explains they are at work but might come home soon due to the snow. Ikikawa worries it might be trouble if her parents find him there, but Yamada reassures him it's fine. She starts to clean his head with a towel but quickly withdraws, asking him to do it himself. Then, she prepares the bath for him, telling him he's free to use their shampoo and any other products. As Ikikawa unbuttons his shirt to get into the bath, he hesitates, realizing he'll be butt naked in Yamada's house. A dream come true or a nightmare. Eventually, he enters the bath but can't help looking around for traces of Yamada. From the other side of the bathroom, Yamada calls out his name, informing him she's leaving a change of clothes for him and putting his uniform in a bag. Blushing, she holds his uniform while Ikikawa blushes in the shower, accidentally responding to her with his hands on his crotch. Bro knew all the protocols, even in muscle memory. Ikikawa gets out of the bath, pondering how Yamada must feel, blaming herself for his arm injury and the keychain incident. He picks up the package she left him, feeling flattered and confused that she'd borrow clothes from men in her house just for him. Then, he realizes his underwear is missing. Perfect timing for an existential crisis. Ikikawa wonders if his underwear is in her bag with his other clothes, planning to quickly put on the clothes she left him, grab his underwear, then rush back into the bathroom. But just as he opens the door to step out, he's ambushed by her dog, Wantaro, who announces to Yamada that he's out of the bathroom, only to find Yamada already changed into a bear hoodie. Mo got her. She explains that she thought it might be cuter, prompting Ikikawa to take a seat at the table while Yamada paces around. He asks her to sit down, and she settles right beside him, mentioning that she always has hot pots like this when her mom doesn't come back early. Ikikawa inquires if she always eats alone, to which she confirms, describing it as sophisticated and calming. Ikikawa remarks that it sounds rather lonely. Yamada then suggests that he could join her for meals sometime. Ikikawa quickly changes the subject by asking about the book she was holding. Yamada shows him her yearbook, and Ikikawa swiftly spots her in all the photos. She playfully teases him, saying he's faster than her, which makes him feel a bit embarrassed. Noticing a piano nearby, Ikikawa asks if she plays. Yamada explains that she used to take lessons as a kid, along with ballet, English, swimming, and kendo. She adds that she did quit them all almost immediately, but Ikikawa is impressed that she did so much. Though Yamada doesn't look happy with that feat, as she laments that she did so many but was never good at any of them. She adds how new kids would do better than her, which would kill her spirit and eventually lead to her quitting. She tells him about how her parents would make her favorite foods anytime she quit any class, including when she didn't get into a private school and when she hurt her nose. Ikikawa tells her that they're good parents, and she agrees but says that lately she's been scared. She says that she has been blessed to be around so many great people, but that lately she feels like a nuisance. She fears that one day she'll do something that will make someone truly hate her, and she begins tearing up. She wiped her face, mentioning she'd been crying too much lately. He tried to comfort her, reassuring her that if he ever found her annoying, he'd let her know. But before he could continue, she brought up a time he didn't talk to her before winter break, wondering if there was a reason. Tearfully, she confessed she got scared because she knew he was kind. Despite feeling annoyed, he suddenly hugged her, apologizing for lying and admitting he was afraid of getting hurt. Later, with the hot pot boiling, Yamada poured a bowl for Ikikawa, feeling more upbeat. She admitted being a screw-up but didn't understand her anxiety now. Ikikawa interrupted, saying she was becoming more like an adult, though being one sucks. I don't see any lies there. They laughed, and he suggested worrying might be a good thing. Yamada realized she hadn't checked her phone and saw her mother's message. Panicking, they heard the door unlock as her mother entered. Her mom, Sani, entered, noticing the extra pair of shoes, and Yamada nervously claimed Chi was visiting. Inside, the makeshift Chi panicked, wondering how he always ended up in these situations. Flashback to Yamada reassuring him it's okay, but he questioned being in her jersey and if she had male friends over. She denied it, leading him into her room and closing the door. Back in Yamada's room, he marvels at his surroundings but scolds himself for putting her in a position to lie. He worries about the consequences if they're caught, especially with her strict mother. Outside, Sani notices the hot pot and Yamada's thoughtful gestures, heading to the bathroom. Ikikawa sees a chance to escape. Yamada checks the bath, feigning normalcy while Sani worries about her health. They discuss Yamada's hoodie, and Sani leaves to change, giving them a moment alone. Yamada sighs in relief but quickly composes herself as her father's arrival is imminent. Ikikawa tries to calm her, asking about her father, and she hesitantly says they're similar. Before she can elaborate, Sani bursts in, questioning Chi's allergies and Ikikawa's presence. They manage to convince her, but Ikikawa feels guilty for making Yamada lie. He notices a bottle of tea on the windowsill before Yamada playfully tackles him for payback. Despite feeling relieved, Yamada asserts her maturity, but Ikikawa teases her for referring to herself in the third person, making her blush. Outside, Ikikawa leaves with Yamada's coat, arranging for his parents to pick him up. He reflects on their secrets and Yamada's mother's true nature. As he rides the elevator, he encounters a formidable man who intimidates him. Ikikawa vows never to return to such a scary place. Later, Yamada apologizes for the chaos and invites him back. In his room, Lucifer lectures him about progress with Yamada, but Ikikawa brushes it off, uncertain about their relationship's boundaries. At school, he encounters Yamada and Chi, who notice his healed arm. Bro found a senzu bean. Yamada tries to engage him, but he struggles to speak due to his changing voice. They meet in the library, where Ikikawa reveals his voice troubles. Yamada worries it's a cold, but he explains it's just his voice changing. He reflects on their friendship and his fear of growing up, as Yamada excitedly anticipates his changes. Later, in judo class, Ikikawa and Yamada are left as partners. They spar, with Yamada complaining about the stench of his gi. Despite their mismatched ranks, they engage in friendly combat, with Yamada completely whooping his weak butt as payback. Afterward, they walk back to class, where Kanzaki misunderstands Ikikawa's explanation about Yamada's concern over the smell, causing confusion and embarrassment. Mo announced that it was 7 days, 13 hours, and 23 minutes until Valentine's Day. Neat precision. Yamada suggested making plans for the occasion, while Ikikawa, in the background, listened intently as Mo asked what kind of plans they should make. Yamada suggested getting along with the underclassmen girls and talking about how much they loved sweets, strolling around the school on the big day. However, Mo proposed making chocolate for all the boys instead. The girls pondered over the idea, and Mo predicted that the boys would definitely accept the chocolates if she mentioned that she made them with Yamada. She grabbed Ikikawa's shoulder, seeking his opinion. Of course, Ikikawa wanted some of that Yamada chocolate. Before he could respond, Yamada chimed in, asking if it would be like her giving them chocolate. Mo turned to Ikikawa again, asking for his input. They discussed what to make, with Yamada insisting on chocolate as it was the king of all snacks, according to her. Yamada officially declared it an event for Sunday, with them planning to test out making chocolate. And she invited everyone, making sure to look at Ikikawa to signal that he was invited too. On Valentine's Day, Ikikawa hesitated outside Yamada's apartment building, dressed in his usual gothic Riz-filled outfit. Just as he was about to turn back, Serena and Chi appeared. She questioned his presence there, triggering a mental crisis for Ikikawa, who tried to play it off as just passing by before making a hasty retreat. Running into Mo, he was asked what was wrong, and she promptly pointed towards the building, dragging him back by the collar. Pondering over whether he and Mo were truly friends, based on their interactions at the family restaurant on New Year's, he felt uncertain about the concept of friendship. Yamada answered the door, munching on a chocolate bar, which Mo assumed was an ingredient for their chocolate making, though Yamada denied it. Inside, Chi queried why Yamada was dressed up, receiving an evasive response. Mo warned Ikikawa about Yamada's strict mother. When Yamada's mother noticed Ikikawa, Mo impulsively claimed that he was her boyfriend to avoid any potential issues. Bro got 2 for 1. This declaration shocked everyone, while Mo leaned over to Ikikawa, explaining that it was a necessary fib. Given an apron, Ikikawa struggled with the button, but Yamada stepped in to help. However, when Yamada's mother noticed their closeness, Mo intervened to avoid revealing their true relationship. Her mom witnessed epic sis code and play. Whispers from Mo in his ear kept the play going, as Ikikawa reflected on how he'd likely be sent home if not for Mo's quick thinking. As Mo started giving orders, Yamada became upset at her perceived closeness with Ikikawa. Yamada's mother took an interest in their relationship, but Yamada quickly dismissed her, wanting to focus on their chocolate-making endeavor. Mo asked Ikikawa about his plans for White Day, but he was unsure. She tried to join in, but Mo shut her down. Feeling out of place as others matured, Mo wondered about Yamada's favorite things, leading Chi to recall a moment from basketball tryouts where Yamada struggled with a trick, and Chi comforted her. Back at the present, Mo brought up Yamada's favorites, prompting Chi to claim she was Yamada's favorite. Ikikawa tried to distance himself, so Mo tried to get close, upsetting Yamada. Serena sensed trouble and tried to stop it, but Chi misinterpreted her. Uncomfortable, Ikikawa left to do dishes, where Yamada confronted him. He considered leaving but decided against it. Outside, Sani caught him leaving and asked if he was going home. He apologized for causing trouble but then blurted out the truth about the lie. Before they could react, he dashed out but collapsed. Yamada followed, revealing she knew it was him. They talked, and he decided to stay. Inside, Yamada's father arrived, criticizing their chocolate making. Ikikawa felt unwelcome but stayed. Yuki, Yamada's father, surprised Ikikawa by inviting him to play video games. They bonded, and Ikikawa learned about Yuki's softer side. Later, Yamada shared chocolate with Ikikawa behind a curtain. Walking home, Ikikawa was questioned by Mo and Serena about his visit to Yamada's. At home, his sister teased him about forming a harem. In his room, Yamada asked about his impressions of her parents. He worried about the consequences of the lie but agreed to visit again. Kana, his sister, talked to him about confessing to Yamada, leading to a heartfelt conversation about love and confidence. The next day, Ikikawa decided to be greedy with his time with Yamada, asking her not to give chocolate to other boys. Yamada received Valentine's chocolate from her fangirls and set out to distribute it, much to Chi's dismay. Meanwhile, Ikikawa navigated the day, receiving chocolates and reflecting on their significance. Mo dumped chocolates on his desk, sparking a series of interactions where feelings and misunderstandings abounded. Yamada challenged Ikikawa to a shogi game with chocolate pieces. They bonded over the game, and Ikikawa treasured the chocolate as a symbol of Valentine's Day, although Ikikawa sucked at the game and couldn't learn it even if it was the last game on Earth. Later, they discussed the complexities of giving chocolates and expressing feelings. Outside, Yamada pulled Ikikawa aside to show him Hara's gift, causing confusion and tension. They ended up riding his bike together, sharing moments of intimacy. At a convenience store, they discussed chocolates and misunderstandings. Yamada offered a cupcake, creating a heartfelt moment between them. Ikikawa later surprised her with a gift. Although anxious, he felt he had attained a great accomplishment, and he could add this to his in-game achievements. After school, Ikikawa faced pressure from classmates about White Day gifts. He sought advice from Adachi and Nanju, reflecting on his feelings for Yamada and the complexities of relationships. In a comedic encounter, Ikikawa tried to avoid Nanju's involvement with Yamada. Despite misunderstandings, Ikikawa reaffirmed his connection with Yamada and sought to protect it from outside interference. Ikikawa and Yamada were at the Senzoku station. Yamada was wearing a ribbon, which she used as camouflage after school, and she handed over her cardigan to Ikikawa, expecting him to wear it. Despite feeling uncertain, Ikikawa eventually donned the cardigan, feeling like a reluctant model in a fashion disaster waiting to happen, and Yamada took a photo of him, saying he looked grown up. She then offered him another coupon for a movie, and as she awkwardly walked off, Ikikawa couldn't shake off the feeling of being in a romantic subplot straight out of a shoujo manga. He nervously asked her if she'd like to see the movie together. She happily accepted, and they got on the train. During their time together, Ikikawa imagined Lucifer Nigorikawa giving him advice, but stopped when Yamada gave him a strange look. They arrived at a takoyaki stand where Ikikawa's sister worked. Despite his hesitation, Yamada rushed over to the stand, and they ended up having takoyaki together. Yamada invited Ikikawa to watch her photo shoot for a magazine, and he agreed. Later, at the movie theater, Ikikawa reflected on his feelings for Yamada and the idea of them being on a date. They watched the movie together, and afterwards, Yamada expressed her enjoyment of the film. Ikikawa admitted he wanted to know more about her, which embarrassed Yamada. The next day, Ikikawa went to Yamada's photo shoot but felt inferior in the presence of the stylish and mature figures there. He left briefly but returned to support Yamada. They met her manager, Yuki Suwa, and Yamada's model friend, Kuda Niko. Despite feeling self-conscious, Ikikawa realized that no one would mistake them for a couple. As they took the train home together, Yamada asked Ikikawa how he felt about the day, and he described it as exciting. He showed her a secretly taken photo, and she found it pretty, causing embarrassment for both of them. Nita asked Ikikawa to give a speech at the graduation ceremony, but he hesitated. Yamada encouraged him, and eventually he agreed to rehearse. However, he struggled with nervousness during the rehearsal. Yamada helped him prepare, and they overheard Nanju rejecting a confession from another girl. Feeling pressured, Ikikawa decided to do the speech. After some awkward moments with Yamada, he resolved to show his best self. Meanwhile, Ikikawa reminisced about his past confidence contrasted with his current anxiety. At home, Ikikawa's sister helped him prepare, but he forgot his script the next day. Panicking, he searched for it while his sister rushed to deliver it. In the end, Yamada's encouragement helped him face the challenge. During the speech, Ikikawa summoned his inner Chad, and although he struggled a bit, he managed to deliver it successfully. However, the stress caused him to collapse afterward. In the nurse's office, he reflected on his feelings while Yamada and Nanju had a conversation outside. Moments before disaster, Nanju confessed his feelings for Yamada, but she revealed her feelings for Ikikawa. Realizing Yamada's affection for him, Ikikawa gained clarity about his own feelings, making him regain his Chad powers in full force. As Nanju left, Ikikawa and Yamada shared a moment of understanding before going their separate ways. Meanwhile, Ikikawa confronted his insecurities and delivered his speech with newfound confidence. The power of Riz acceptance in full display. At the Ikikawa house, Kana excitedly showed Ikikawa a video of his viral speech. Embarrassed, he interrupted, wondering how to handle his newfound popularity. Kana suggested practicing turning down girls, leading to some awkward role-playing. At school, Ikikawa grappled with the realization that Yamada liked him. Despite this, things remained unchanged between them. He worried about jeopardizing their relationship but realized he needed to be careful not to lose points. When she invited Yamada to karaoke, Ikikawa decided not to get involved. But jealousy led him to crash the party, making him look like some creepy stalker. Ikikawa and Yamada ended up alone, where he confronted his feelings of jealousy. Yamada teased him, but they had a heart-to-heart about their relationship. Later, Ikikawa agreed to a double date with Yamada, Hara, and Kanzaki. While shopping for a White Day gift, Ikikawa struggled with jealousy and awkwardness. During the date, Ikikawa's jealousy surfaced, leading to misunderstandings. He clumsily tried to assert his feelings for Yamada but ended up causing more confusion. As the date progressed, Ikikawa and Kanzaki had a candid conversation about their feelings for Yamada and Hara. Ikikawa realized Kanzaki's straightforwardness and tried to emulate it. When Yamada went missing, Ikikawa searched for her with Kanzaki and Hara. Alone with Yamada, he reflected on his insecurities and resolved to be honest about his feelings. He gave her a muffin and confessed his affection, but struggled to articulate his emotions. Yamada's reaction surprised him, and they shared a moment of mutual understanding. They discussed a bracelet Ikikawa gave her, symbolizing their growing connection. Despite his awkwardness, Ikikawa realized that this was the right atmosphere for them, marking an important step forward in their relationship. Ikikawa and Adachi chatted in the school hallway about Adachi's plan to give a gift to Mo. Adachi revealed how he'd involved Ikikawa in the scheme, then casually tossed the present into Mo's locker before leaving. Picture-perfect plan. Ikikawa, intending to move the gift to Mo's locker, was surprised when Yamada and Mo appeared. It turned out Adachi had mistakenly thrown the gift into Yamada's locker. Despite Ikikawa's efforts to stop her, Mo couldn't resist peeking at the letter inside the box. Later, Adachi received flack from his mom for not properly thanking Mo for chocolates. He managed a belated thanks, claiming she made them for everyone. He wasn't so special after all. On March 24th, their teacher announced they'd bid farewell to the class. Ikikawa reminded Mo they might be in different classes. Reflecting on their tight-knit community, Ikikawa received a text from Yamada, leading to a bet during basketball. After a playful match, they bantered about the outcome, with Yamada asking if she could call him K. Later, Ikikawa mulled over Yamada's text from her room. Kana announced plans for Ikikawa's birthday dinner, where Yamada whispered "Happy Birthday Kaio" in his ear, causing him to faint. Yamada's overpowered with Riz, it seems. Kana and Yamada briefly chatted about Kana's outfit. Ikikawa's mom offered Yamada to stay the night, leading to a discussion about her mom's approval. Ikikawa hesitated, but Kana provided clothes for Yamada after her bath. After sharing intimate moments, Ikikawa and Yamada discussed her film role and his parents. As Yamada fell asleep, Ikikawa covered her with a blanket, pondering their enduring love as the night ended. The next morning, Yamada and Ikikawa had a casual interaction before she left for Hiroshima. Ikikawa joined his friends to hear gossip about a model's scandal, defending her innocence. Mo and her friends unexpectedly joined, causing some awkwardness. Later, Ikikawa learned that Yamada's mother disapproved of her sleepover at his house, but supported her choices. At the film shoot, Yamada impressed the director but got emotional during a scene. Ikikawa worried about her safety amid a scandal involving the director. He discovered a creepy fan's online obsession with Yamada and decided to intervene. Bro decided to stand on business. Yamada called Ikikawa from a seaside trip with her mom, unaware of the danger nearby. Ikikawa warned her to be cautious but struggled to communicate his concerns. Meanwhile, Ikikawa discovered the fan's disturbing behavior escalating online. Concerned, he rushed to Yamada's house, where he met her father, Yuki. They shared a tense moment before learning Yamada was safe but had lost her phone. Yamada narrated her misadventures to Ikikawa, who felt relief but also regret for his earlier anxiety. Back home, Ikikawa confronted the fan, suspecting her presence at a ramen shop Yamada planned to visit. He met Yamada there, but their outing was disrupted by a strange encounter with the fan. Ikikawa intervened, and the situation was resolved peacefully. Bro successfully stood on business. On the train home, Yamada vowed to be more careful online, and Ikikawa reflected on their shared experiences. Despite the drama, they found comfort in each other's company. As Ikikawa listened in on Hanzawa and Yamada's conversation in the library, he felt a sense of discomfort creeping in. Hanzawa's questions about love and relationships resonated with him, stirring up his own uncertainties and concerns. He wondered if love was truly something worth celebrating or if it was filled with difficulties and eventual heartbreak, reflecting on the failed relationship of the couple from the previous year. Yamada's willingness to share intimate details with Hanzawa about her relationship with Ikikawa left him feeling uneasy. He realized that their connection was becoming more complicated, and he struggled with the idea of maintaining a healthy distance, not just physically but emotionally as well. As Yamada followed Hanzawa out of the library, Ikikawa tried to caution her about being too open with others. He sensed that their growing closeness might lead to misunderstandings or complications, especially with someone as curious and innocent as Hanzawa. The dynamics between Ikikawa, Yamada, and Hanzawa became increasingly intricate, with each character grappling with their own emotions and insecurities. As they navigated the complexities of friendship, love, and personal boundaries, they found themselves confronting difficult questions about the nature of relationships and the challenges they entailed. Moriya-sensei kicked off the countdown to the last middle school sports festival ever, going all out with the details. Mo annoyedly said that she didn't have to break it down. Didn't she do the same thing some episodes back? Moriya was all about redemption after last year's third-place finish, going on about unity and stuff, but Ikikawa thought it was lame. Turns out, Moriya was just in it for the teacher's bragging rights, which surprised Mo. Flashback to last year's festival. Ikikawa ended up in the centipede race with a bunch of misfits, including Yamada, whom he wasn't exactly thrilled about working with. During practice, Yamada fell, and Ikikawa saved her, but he wasn't feeling the team spirit. Fast forward to now, Ikikawa was approached to be the cavalry rider, but he wasn't sure about it until Adachi pushed him into it. In the present, Ikikawa was doing some self-reflection while running, pondering Adachi's challenge and his feelings for Yamada. He ran into Yamada, they ended up at her place, and she was surprisingly into fitness. Awkwardness ensued as they hung out and worked out together. Later, at the festival, a lot of entertaining shenanigans went down. Andu cheated, Yamada struggled in the obstacle race, and Ikikawa reluctantly joined the cavalry battle. Adachi spilled his feelings about liking Yamada and respecting Ikikawa, making things even more complicated. Ikikawa seems to have quite the competition. The cavalry battle went down in the rain, with Adachi pulling a risky move to win. The event got cancelled, and Adachi's mom swooped in to nurse Ikikawa, much to his distress. Yamada offered some wise words about embracing frustration, and they shared a meal, leading to some awkward but sweet moments between them. Overall, it was a roller coaster of emotions and muddy battles at the sports festival, with some unexpected heart-to-heart moments thrown in the mix. Ikikawa and Yamada ran into each other on the way to school, but Ikikawa realized he was still in winter gear while Yamada had switched to summer uniform. Typical wardrobe malfunction. Feeling self-conscious, Ikikawa slowly shed his layers as they walked. Inside class, Moriya announced groups for the school trip. Ikikawa, clueless about Yamada's disappointment over the trip dates, asked about food in Nara. Yamada was quiet, and Ikikawa mistakenly assumed they would be in the same group. Later, he learned of his error and felt embarrassed. At home, Ikikawa reflected on the day, and then got a call from Yamada. They chatted awkwardly about a manga and the trip. Yamada abruptly hung up, leaving Ikikawa confused. Meanwhile, they embarked on the school trip to Kyoto and Nara. On the train, Ikikawa and Yamada were among the students headed for their trip. Ikikawa was lost in thought while Yamada tried to switch seats with Mo, who refused. Hanzawa, sitting nearby, talked about Andu's matchmaking plans, making Ikikawa uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Yamada bought crackers for deer in Nara but got swarmed. Ikikawa noticed Chi's concern about Yamada's behavior, realizing she had work plans. Feeling left out, he contemplated their relationship dynamics as they prepared to depart. During the school trip, the students took a class photo, but Ikikawa wished for a chance to be alone with Yamada. Later, in the men's bath, Ikikawa felt self-conscious, but his discomfort grew when Adachi suggested a bizarre sausage battle to lighten the mood. Ikikawa tried to avoid the situation, feeling it was the worst. After their respective baths, Ikikawa and Yamada awkwardly encountered each other in the stairway. Adachi unintentionally embarrassed Yamada by mentioning the legendary sausage battle, but Ikikawa appreciated his unintended diversion. Later that night, Ikikawa reflected on the day's events and considered his feelings for Yamada. He discussed his thoughts with Nigorikawa, contemplating whether he had inadvertently caused Yamada distress. Determined to understand her feelings, Ikikawa decided to take action. He rushed to Yamada's room, but their encounter was interrupted when Moriya-sensei mistook Ikikawa for Chi and ordered them both inside. Yamada, flustered, threw Ikikawa under the covers of her futon, leaving him stunned. Ikikawa found himself in quite the situation as Moko suggested discussing romantic tales with the girls. Yuka prompted Yamada about her crush, but Yamada deflected, making the girls hide under their sheets. Amidst the playful banter, Yamada expressed her preference for interesting, cat-like men, sparking a discussion about past romantic experiences. Moko advocated for love to develop over time, while Yamada favored more direct approaches. A lot of info being passed around to a boy's hearing. Moko's cryptic remark led Ikikawa to contemplate some cultured showdowns, but she switched off the lights before he could be any more cultured than already was. Under the covers, Yamada sought Ikikawa's advice, while Ikikawa grappled with distracting thoughts. As they discussed maturity, Yamada questioned if she's grown, prompting Ikikawa to suggest they talk the next day. When Yamada abruptly emerged from under the covers, Chi curiously asked what's up, but Yamada brushed it off. Noticing Yamada's oversized sheets, Moko and the others investigated, unaware of the cultured bro hiding underneath. However, Yamada spotted Kanzaki spying and alerted the girls, leading to a confrontation. After the commotion, Yamada and Ikikawa left, but Yamada stopped Ikikawa, curious about their impending conversation. Ikikawa postponed their talk until the next day. The following day, the students visited a holy area, where Yamada shared a legend about couples being bound together for eternity if they left hand in hand. Meanwhile, Ikikawa contemplated his upcoming chat with Yamada. Encountering Yamada wearing a fox mask, Ikikawa decided to follow her, leading to a heartfelt conversation about their experiences. Uncovering Yamada's worries about an audition, Ikikawa comforted her, revealing his own feelings in the process. Despite interruptions, including Yamada's discovery of their proximity, Ikikawa and Yamada shared a tender moment before parting ways. Ikikawa encouraged Yamada to attend her audition, promising to cover for her at school. Later, Ikikawa encountered unexpected chaos involving his classmates and reflected on Yamada's courage. While on a bullet train, he received a text from Yamada, and they arranged to meet at their usual spot. Upon meeting, Ikikawa learned about Yamada's audition experience and her heartfelt realization about what truly mattered to her. Yamada tearfully expressed her love for Ikikawa, leading to a tender moment between them. As they tried to kiss, they fumbled but shared a heartfelt embrace. The season ended with Ikikawa and Yamada declaring their love for each other against the backdrop of a stunning sunset. Thanks for tuning into our recap of The Dangers in My Heart Season 2. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more hilarious rom-com antics. And remember, when it comes to navigating the treacherous waters of teenage love, just keep your heart in check and your sense of humor intact. Until next time, stay awkwardly adorable.